Hello and welcome to another episode of Tegrin Toy Shop. Today we're going to be working on the knobsled, the world's second fastest wheelbarrow. I've had the opportunity of a lifetime. I've been invited up to Shelsley Walsh to the Bike Bonanza and I've been asked if I can run the hill. Doing a hill climb on such a historic place in something so stupid is absolutely phenomenal. But there's a few bits and pieces I need to do to this to get it ready for that hill climb. Going up the hill isn't so much of an issue. Coming back down the hill, however, is, because I've only got front brakes. And when I did Prescott Hill Climb, by the time I got back to the pits from the top of the hill, I had no brakes whatsoever. I've only got brakes on the front. It's a tiny little drum. It's not designed for going downhill at all, really. It was designed for going on the flat and then slowing down very, very slowly. So today we are going to do something about that. We're going to fit some back brakes and then see if we can do a few other little bits and pieces to make it a little bit happier, or make me a little bit happier going up a hill with it and then coming back down a hill with it. So let's get into it. So first things first, I've had it strapped down to the bench in the straight ahead position. I've measured it up and it's bang on in the middle of the bench. No need for any posh alignment jigs or anything with this. We're just going to wing it. The idea is to take these wheels off, and then I've got another back axle. I've actually got another, it's the back frame from a racing cart, which I'm going to put onto it, because I want to have this so I can put it back to as it was when it completed the record with me. So I want to be able to put it back to standard, as it were, so that at some point when this goes up on a shelf somewhere, it can be displayed as it was when it got me the record. So first thing to do is to get these wheels and hubs off, and then we can play about with the new subframe. Oh, I didn't realise these wheel bearings had gone as bad as they had. That's what comes of stripping all of the grease out of them and filling them with WD-40 instead to try and get a little bit less rolling resistance. Now these are cart front hubs that just go onto a straight axle. So I've got this little nut and bolt to take out here. Now the story is with this, I built it as a bit of a laugh. I didn't actually build it with the intention of going quite as fast as I did. So if I'd have known how fast I was going to take it to, I would have built this trolley with back brakes anyway. But I winged it. Spacer out. Take them off. These two. And this is the subframe that we've got. Already chopped it around a little bit to get it to fit temporarily. Get the wheels back on here. So the idea is now to take this subframe, we're going to make something that bolts into these existing bolts. We'll probably take them up to M8 instead of M6. And then on these axle tubes here, we'll have something that slots over the axle tube and then bolts down onto this frame. That way we're using, most of the loading is going through the existing strongest point of this frame. And at the front also it's going into a bar which is triangulated up against the upper frame as well. Yeah, we should be fine. It's the worst that can happen. So we've got this sitting on blocks where it should be height-wise now. I need to do some measurements to get it squared up with this frame, and then I need to try and work out how we are going to fix this onto there. Tape measures. I've either got 4 on the go or I can't find a single one. So I've got all of this to a point where I'm fairly confident it's going to fit now. So what we're going to do is get the subframe, get it all ground back and cleaned up, so I can start throwing some tack welds on, and I'm not going to be worrying about paint being in the way later on. I've got this notched piece of angle which is going to bolt up onto this frame and get welded on, and then yeah, we'll play it by ear. So yeah, let's get all of this prepped up, and then do some welding. So there's my sleeves that I've machined up. You can see we've got the poly bushes in there. That's nice and rigid. So what we need to do now is make some plates that go across here, and then matching plates, and then from the matching plates we go from this down to there with some bolts, so it's all removable. So we've just got these temporarily braced up, so I can actually take them off now and I can get the poly bushes out, so that there's going to be no melting of the poly bushes, and it'll be easier for me to do all of the templates to do the side bracing and bits and pieces. So that's not the prettiest, but it'll do. That's that all welded up. Same on the other side. I just need to pop the poly bushes in. I think we're ready to take this main frame off, so I can do all of the welding on here. I need to slice a little bit off the top of this angle so that the foot plate will bolt back in nicely, and then I think we're done. So I didn't realise that my camera battery had died, so yeah, there's a big old chunk of footage missing from there, sorry. So back axle is on. We've got the master cylinder, so that's the old cart master cylinder which is mounted up, and what I've done is I've used the existing brake lever and cable that I had, and instead of having it going to the front lever, I've just got it looping back round, and then that pulls on the lever. I can move that to different points as well, so I can get more or less movement and or force depending on which I need. This is all bolted up, mounted up. I've got some little paint marks on things to make sure that things don't slacken off. So the only thing left to do now is cable tie this cable back tidily away and get all of my wiring up, and then we've got a foot plate to make so that I don't go and put my feet into the axle, because the plan is now is to kneel slightly further back. So used to be my feet were against this bar, now the plan is to get my feet against here, so it moves me slightly back, so I've got more control over the bars. I'm slightly further back from them, I'm not tucked in between like I used to be. So yeah, it's all looking quite good. So I've had no end of problems with my camera. I didn't realise that it was cutting out again. We are pretty much done. We have made a little foot plate to cover the back axle. That's somewhere for my feet to go. Little cushion for my knees to go. We've got our master cylinder mounted up. Got our cable mounts and everything. Everything is now cable tidy out of the way. Yeah, so all that's left to do now is give this a little test. And all being well, we can run it up the hill at Shelsley Walsh. So I did a bit of a test yesterday, and safe to say it did not go well. I think I sprained my wrist. I've definitely done something to my ribs, and I've got a big lump on my leg where I tipped the barrow over. So let's have a look at some of the damage. So we can see my number plate at the front is bent. My tub is bent, nice little kink inside there, scratches down the side of it, and my silencer is a bit scratched. It's nothing too bad. My back axle is bent, but that's not the end of the world because that is coming off. We're going to rethink what we're doing here. Yeah, so that wasn't a particularly productive couple of days. There we go. So there's a couple of takeaways from this. I'm glad it happened at home. I'm glad I didn't go all the way up to Shelsley Walsh to fall off and smash this thing up. I wasn't hurt badly, which is the main thing. And yeah, this is the way it goes with this sort of experimentation. We're going to wrap it up here for this episode. Thank you for watching. If you like what you're seeing, please like and subscribe. And then the next episode, we're going to straighten up the barrow, rebuild the back end again. Thank you for watching.